Well, hi Art 281 Online. It's your instructor Melissa, and it's been a while since I've done a video update, so I thought it was time, especially with it being mid-semester. Okay, so I kind of wanted to, I don't know, just kind of look at where we are in the class and kind of let you know how your midterm exam is going to go down and all of that stuff. So at this point, of course, we're on week 8, and as you probably recall, every 4 weeks we have an exam. So maybe unlike in some of your other classes where you may have like a big, scary sort of cumulative midterm, you don't have that for this class. You have just a regular unit exam that is over the last 4 weeks. And that exam actually will not happen until after spring break is over, which is good and bad. It's kind of a double-edged sword, right? So it's an extra week to study. If you do actually take some of that time to study, I know that you'll probably be busy doing lots of other great things over spring break. But it might give you some extra time, more time than you would have for a regular exam. But it's also a week in which to forget things, unfortunately, right? I know when I was a student, that always was sort of a double-edged sword for me. So just wanted to kind of touch base with you on when the exam will be, where your review stuff will be, and a little bit about how to take the exam and how to study for the exam, because I feel like there was some miscommunication for the last exam. So we want to review that as well. Okay, so I'm on your modules page right now, and if you were on your modules page, you would see that modules or week 1 through 4 is now moved to the bottom. It's still there. It's at the bottom of the modules page, but it's just we've already taken an exam over those, so we've kind of pushed them out of the way. So at the very top is week 5, then week 6, week 7, and week 8, right? Because that's what we're currently working on. Then underneath that is the review for exam 2, and that actually isn't open yet. It will open on March 10th, which is just in a few days, and then you'll have the reviews available to you like you did for the first exam. So before we take a closer look at review for exam 2, I want to review a little bit about how to study for an exam before we take a look at those reviews, if that's okay. So where do you find the orientation, how to study for an exam? Well, now the orientation is at the bottom of the page. It's where it has been for several weeks. So scroll down to the bottom of modules. Here's the orientation, right? So let's find studying for an exam. Actually, here it is, studying for an exam. Okay, so let's take a look at this, see what it says. So it tells you you should review your textbook and lectures and use the review module, which we were just looking at for guidance. And we'll take a look at that shortly. Now it says that it will open about 5 days prior to an exam, but since you have spring break, it's actually like 12 days, which can be kind of nice. So the review is text directing you to study certain things, as well as which images are going to appear on the exam. Okay, so the images shown in the reviews are the ones that you will see in the exams, unless we have issues with the images like we did last time. And that hopefully will not happen this time. Most of the questions are kind of standard multiple choice, fill in the blanks, short essays. When you see a short essay question, that will be a question that has a text box and seems to have an open-ended question. And those are ones I want to remind you that I do expect some sentences. I don't expect like just a couple words answers. So just kind of keep that in the back burner when you're thinking about studying. Do remember that the most important stuff is not like specific dates, how to spell a name, but it's more the concept, the historical event, the technique, or artistic issue that we talked about with regard to that artwork, right? So those are the most important things to remember. Kind of more of the social context and actual historical information rather than data like dates. There will be, though, a matching vocabulary section, and as it says, the words to study for that section can be found under vocab at the bottom of each review page, and we'll take a look at that again shortly, okay? Then a reminder, too, that there is an essay portion. Last time there was some confusion about having to take 1 or 2 of them, so I was pretty lenient in terms of grading, and that's fine. I probably should have gone over this with you then. So just a reminder that there will be 2 essay options, and those are as it says, you will ask, let me move this, you will answer one of them. This is what we call our longer form essay. You get to choose one essay question out of 2 to answer. So I don't tell you what the questions are, but I do tell you which images that will be used for the question, and those are in the reviews. Okay, they're marked Essay 1 and Essay 2 in the reviews. So what you do is you choose one of those essays, it says, one of those essay images to study as much as you can. Be an expert on that particular work so you'll be ready for the question. Now, even though most of the time stuff like spelling an artist's name or dates isn't that important, it is important for this essay because again, this is a kind of a chance to be an expert on one of these 2 artworks, okay? It says, indeed it says, in studying, don't skimp on knowing details about this artwork, such as date and title. Also be sure to use your book extensively, not just the lecture, because often I draw specifically from the book for the essay. Okay? And just a reminder, it really does require, like it does for a lot of 200 level and above classes, some specific specific studying for the exam, not just the regular studying that you do on a week-to-week basis, okay? All right. So let's take a look at that review. Let's go back to modules, okay? This review's underneath week 8. So let's take a look at part 1. For week 5. So week 5 was a pretty big chapter. I mean, it was really big. So there's 2 parts to the review. Oh, by the way, I should be able to get the audio recording or the YouTube recording for week 5 up. I had it done in the middle of the week, and then I had to get a new computer because my computer died, and hopefully it all got uploaded to YouTube before then. So when you're looking through the review, you see the images. You can click on each of the images to get a bigger version, and it kind of tells you in almost bullet points things that you're going to want to know. Now, of course, not all these things will appear on the exam, but a lot of them will. And so, you know, please follow these very carefully and remember that these are the images that are going to be used. So when you want to reinforce that information when you're studying, use the images. Visual information really reinforces text information in your memory. So definitely want to use them together, okay? Then at the bottom we have a couple vocab words. We have 3 of them, and you'll have several usually for each chapter. Some chapters we don't have any, but usually there are some. So let's look at part 2. Once again, we've got some vocab. I don't think I see. Let's see, do I see anything about the essays yet? Let's check and see. Looks like not so far. Right, remember we're looking for 2 images that are essay 1 and 2 that we can choose one of those to study for the essay portion of the exam. Oh look, so here we found one. Augusta Suprema Porta is our essay image number 1, right? So we know that that might be an artwork we want to be an expert about. We will have another option though. We'll find that shortly. So again, there's sort of text directing you to ideas and information, and there's images that you'll use. All right. And then we've got more vocab. We've got stuff from chapter 7. I don't see the other essay yet. It must be on this last page. Let's take a look. All right, yeah, it looks like our second essay image is the Dome of the Rock. So you can either choose to become an expert on the Dome of the Rock, according to what we read in the textbook and the lecture, or the Augusta Suprema Porta. So hopefully kind of reviewing that information in the orientation about studying for exam will help you to use these reviews to study. And as usual, if you have any question, please feel free to inbox me. And have a great spring break.